What's the difference between an AMG skeptic and an AMG believer? A split second. Time it takes to fire up the ignition. Go to MBUSA.com/AMG, Mercedes AMG driving performance. Greg, what do we got? All right, Steve Smith will be joining us. NFL Network former Pro Bowler Terry Bradshaw will be joining us as well. It is good to have you in today. Here's the Super Bowl week. We're not there. People ask me, how come you're not out there? It's obviously COVID. I guess CBS has the game. From what I've seen on social media, CBS people are there, some of the stuff.
There's some other networks traveling, but everyone has to stay in their hotel room. They have to eat all of their meals in the hotel room.
Really?
Get tested every morning. Everyone has to wear contact tracers. So it's a whole thing. It's not when you think of the concept of Super Bowl, and we really wouldn't be there at all. Like, our show would not travel there. We might individually travel there over the weekend for appearances or whatever, but our show wouldn't travel there unless we had it. But the rest of the networks always send a lot of people. We send people, we spend correspondence there. But yeah, it's very different this year.
I just looked to see what was trending on the interweb, and it's Andrew Luck. Folks, let me tell you something. If Andrew Luck comes back to the Colts, this is the best offensive line in football, one of the best general managers in football. It starts to look like the Chiefs.
It was a very strong statement from Jim Irsay.
It's a top 5 or remember, Phillip Rivers with that offensive line had like a 97 passer rating. Phillip Rivers did. So old, he no longer plays football. He had like 24 touchdowns, 11 picks. Andrew Luck comes back. You're talking 35 touchdowns, 7-8 picks.
You've got to wonder if Andrew Luck is watching this year with Phillip Rivers thinking, this guy's been playing forever, and he is not getting injured. He's got time to throw.
Listen, Andrew Luck
pieces.
Can move. Think about this. The Colts go into Buffalo, and I don't have it in front of me, but I think they had 9 offensive possessions. I think they got into Bills territory in all 9. They just in the red zone. Phillip, you got to have – it helps in the red zone to either have really tall targets like Mike Evans and Gronk, or to be able to move, like a Mahomes or a Lamar. It just helps to move. So Phillip didn't really have either. And so the Colts settled for field goals. And that's why Buffalo wins, because Josh Allen can move a little. Remember, they had that big play, ran around, he threw to Knox in the end zone. This is a huge story. And ask yourself, and this is nothing against Andrew Luck, but he physically had a lacerated kidney. I don't even know what that means.
Sounds horrific.
Okay. So Deshaun Watson had something so bad one time because the Texans' weak offensive line, he had to take a bus to a game. They said he couldn't fly to a game.
It was a lung issue or something.
Lung issue. And that's what we're dealing with. So the Texans and the Colts, similarly, bad offensive lines. It's an unbelievable story here if Andrew Luck comes back. Steve Smith, senior NFL Network analyst, 16 years in the NFL, gets Hall of Fame votes, 5-time Pro Bowler, is joining us now live, 5 playoff appearances in his career. So I just read a story, Steve, where Tom Brady hasn't seen his family in 6 days. He won't see him for another 6 days, and that's with a 22,000-square-foot house. He needed more space. You were a very committed player. How are you ever shocked by Brady's commitment and focus?
No, I don't think it's Brady's commitment or focus, but it's protocol, and it's a lot of unforeseen, unexpected issues, and so they just got to kind of do things the best way they can. You see 2 Chiefs players have possibly tested positive or false positive or contact tracing because they were getting a haircut. So you just kind of understand that just to get through this game, you want to get through this game and play, not be able to experience that because of a small error, which can cost you something huge right now, because I don't know who is the backup quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And we don't want to find out who the backup quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So Pro Football Focus says of the top 5 players, Kansas City's got 4 of them. By about the 6th to the 15th best player, it's all Buccaneers. Would you rather go into a game with more high-end players, a handful, or with more really good B-plus players,
That's a great question, but I also think that's a loaded question because how are we saying that some of the players on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are B players? Vita Vea is a stud.
Yeah.
And what he has done, and he's only played in the playoffs once. And look how big of an impact he's made. Devin White was playing like a possessed linebacker. And when you have Vita Vea able to just gobble up all of those defenders and be able to occupy space and let that sideline to sideline linebacker play, I don't necessarily consider him a B player. I think we just have to do different levels and we have to justify our existence by saying this player's B, this player's second team. The fact of the matter is these are the two best teams in the NFL for the 2020 season. And there may be better players, more well-rounded teams, but they couldn't put it together at the right moment.
Right.
So these are the best two teams right now.
So Tyreek Hill ate the Buccaneers alive last time they played. You tell me.
First half.
Yep. You tell me as a star receiver, what was the one way to slow you down? Is it bracketing? Is it physical play line of scrimmage? Like when you were at your best and you were dealing with, what was the hardest thing for you to overcome?
A outstanding D-line, because you can have a average or Pro Bowl shutdown corner. But if your quarterback does not have time to go through his progressions, to look off the safety, to be comfortable and set his feet in that 7-step, 5-step drop, then it doesn't matter how many great routes I run because all I'm doing is killing grass. Only thing I've done is employ the landscaping guy, the maintenance man, because all I've done is kill grass. I did not get a completion. Because when you have an outstanding D-line that can apply pressure to a quarterback, average, below average, good, great. No quarterback has ever completed a pass on their behind. It just doesn't happen. When you can get that quarterback off the spot and get him uncomfortable and make him check the ball down and not go through his progressions, that's when a wide receiver, an offense becomes ineffective. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have that ability. They're gelling.
Yeah.
They have an offense. They have a counterpunch of an explosive offense. And now they have a defense who's gelling, who has it together. Todd Bowles understands each guy he has, what his attributes are and what he does not do well. And so they're utilizing that, and that's why they're in the position they're in right now.
Yeah, I mean, you're saying if the Bucs get to Mahomes, that's your best defense against Hill. Finally, Deshaun Watson's holding out. I defended him this morning. Did you ever hold out? Are you comfortable with him holding out?
Well, I'm comfortable whatever he's comfortable with, but there's also somewhere lies what Deshaun feels, somewhere lies where the Houston Texans feel, and somewhere in the middle lies the truth. And Deshaun Watson feels the way he feels. I haven't spoken to him, and I will not reach out to him because I think this is his situation. And I think too many people are talking about what they think or who they have talked to. But ultimately, Deshaun Watson was given an opportunity by the Houston Texans to be part of a process in which he believes, and I haven't spoken to him, so I'm just going off what the hearsay, he believes he has not been fully involved with the process in which it was presented to him. So he believes that in his formative years, in his most prime years, he doesn't believe that they're going to be truthful. If you're not truthful in the beginning, what makes you think throughout the process as you get older, as things start to droop and sag and may not get back the way it was, that they're going to treat you with the same honesty in which they treated this head coaching and general manager process, in which he's not been part of every process that they told him he would be part of.
Yeah, no, listen, what's the old saying, Maya Angelou? People tell you who they are, believe them. don't play that game, I don't trust you. I agree with Steve. All right, Steve Smith, Senior, NFL Network. Good seeing you, buddy.
Good seeing you. You look good, man. You been working out?
That's right. Been working out a lot, Steve. Thanks for noticing. Been working out a lot. Things are shoulders, pecs, and stuff, and everything. Thank you, Steve, for noticing. I appreciate that.
No problem.
See, Steve's player sees player, baller sees baller right there.
Oh, man.
Black
Didn't
Rifle.
you just say you weren't going to work out anymore?
Sometimes, you just
Something about chicken nachos?
I got to be better at taking compliments, and I went with that one.
You know what? That's right. You deserve that compliment.
Black Rifle Coffee Company is veteran-owned, serving premium coffee to people who love America. BlackRifleCoffee.com/herd. 20% off your first coffee club order. I saw Steve Smith one time. I was having dinner in Manhattan Beach, and he just walked in from the airport. I'm like, where you been? He goes, Korea. I've been in South Korea for like 10. I'm like, what?
This was non-COVID time for all you guys.
Yeah, it's like 3 years. He travels. Steve gets out there and travels. We just sat there and had a beer and sat and talked about life. And he played at Utah. I remember him at Utah. He's a tough dude. He'll get after you a little bit. Then he went on to have an amazing career.
He did.
Yeah, I'd vote for him. I think he's a Hall of Famer. Comeback player of the year. 5 playoff appearances. Right, hour 3 next.